So I'm going to read from The Past is Red. And I thought that I would actually just start reading from the very beginning for those who are watching and have not read it. Yeah, I think since I'm starting from the beginning, you don't need any necessarily background for it. Chapter 1, Nihilist. My name is Tetley Abednego, and I am the most hated girl in Garbage Town. I am 19 years old. I live alone in Candle Hole, where I was born, and have no friends except for a deformed gannet bird I've named Great Crush, and a motherless elephant seal cub I've named Big Bargains, and also the hibiscus flower that has recently decided to grow out of my roof, but I haven't named it anything yet. I love encyclopedias. A cassette I found when I was 8 that says Madeline Brix's Super Boss Mixtape 97 on it in very nice handwriting. Plays by Mr. Shakespeare or Mr. Webster or Mr. Beckett. Lipstick, Garbage Town, my twin brother Maruchan. Maruchan is the only thing that loves me back, but he's my twin, so it doesn't really count. We couldn't stop loving each other any more than the sea could stop being so greedy and give us back China or drive time radio or polar bears. But Maruchan doesn't visit anymore. When we were little, Maruchan and I always asked each other the same question before bed. Every night, we crawled into the us fort together, an impregnable stronghold of a bed we had nailed up ourselves out of the carcasses of several hacked apart bassinets, prams, and cradles. It took up the whole of our bedroom. No one could see us in there once we closed the porthole, a manhole cover I swiped from Scrap Metal Abbey and stamped with stars, a crescent moon, and the magic words, New Orleans water meter. And we felt certain no one could hear us either. We lay together under our canopy of moldy green lace and shredded buggy hoods and mobiles with only one shattered fairy fish remaining. Sometimes I asked first, and sometimes he did, but we never gave the same answer twice. Maruchan, what do you want to be when you grow up? He would give it a serious think. Once I remember, he whispered, when I grow up, I want to be the Thames. Whatever for? I giggled. Because the Thames got so big and so bossy and so strong that it ate London all up in one go. Nobody tells a Thames what to do or who to eat. A Thames tells you. Imagine having a whole city to eat and not having to share any. Also, there were millions of eels in the Thames, and I only get to eat eels at Easter, which isn't fair when I want to eat them all the time. And he pretended to bite me and eat me all up. Very well, I said. You shall be the Thames, and I shall be the Mississippi, and together we shall eat up the whole wide world. Then we'd go to sleep and dream the same dreams. We always dreamed the same dreams, which was like living twice. After that, whenever we were hungry, which was all the time and forever, we'd say, we're bound for London town, until we drove our parents so mad that they forbade the word London in the house. But you can't forbid a word, so there. Every morning, I wake up to find words painted on my door, like toadstools popping up in the night. Today, it says nihilist in big black letters. That's not so bad. It's almost sweet. Big Bargains flumps towards me on her fat seal belly while I light the wicks on my beeswax door, and we watch them burn together until the word melts away. I don't think I'm a nihilist, Big Bargains. Do you? She rolls over onto my matchbox stash, so I'll rub her stomach. Rubbing a seal's stomach is the opposite of nihilism. Yesterday, an old man hobbled up over a ridge of rusted bicycles and punched me so hard he broke my nose. By law, I had to let him. I had to say, thank you, grandfather, for my instruction. I had to stand there and wait in case he wanted to do something else to me. Anything but kill me, those are his rights. But he didn't want more. He just wanted to cry and ask me why I did it. And the law doesn't say I have to answer that, so I just stared at him until he went away. Once again, of schoolgirls, shaved off all my hair and wrote cunt in blue marker on the back of my skull. Thank you, sisters, for my instruction. You schoolboys do worse, though. After graduation, they come round and eat my food and hold me down and try to make me cry, which I never do. It's their rite of passage. Thank you, brothers, for my instruction. But other than that, I'm really a very happy person. I'm awfully lucky when you think about it. Garbage Town is the most wonderful place anybody has ever lived in the history of the world, even if you count the pyramids in New York City and Camelot. I have great crush and big bargains in my hibiscus flower, and I can fish like I've got bait for a heart, so I hardly ever go hungry. And once I found a ruby ring and a New Mexico license plate inside a bluefin tuna. Everyone says they only hate me because I annihilated hope and butchered our future, but I know better, and anyway, it's a lie. Some people are just born to be despised. The loathing of Tetley began small and grew bigger and bigger, like the Thames, until it swallowed me up whole. Maru-chan and I were born 50 years after the Great Sorting, which is another lucky thing that happened to me. After all, I could have been born a fuckwit and gotten drowned with all the rest of them. Or I could have grown up on a misery boat, sailing around hopelessly looking for land. Or one of the first to realize people could live on a patch of garbage in the Pacific Ocean, the size of a place that used to be called Texas. Or I could have been a sorter and spent my whole life moving rubbish from one end of the patch to the other, so a pile of crap could turn into a country, and babies could be born in places called Candle Hole, or Scrap Metal Abbey, or Pill Hill, or Toyside, or Teagate. Candle Hole is the most beautiful place in Garbage Town, which is the most beautiful place in the whole world. All the stubs of candles and the fuckwits ever threw out, piled up into hills and mountains and caverns and dells, votive candles and taper candles and tea lights, and birthday candles and big fat colorful pillar candles, stacked and somewhat melted into a great crumbling gorgeous warren of wicks and wax. All the houses are cozy little honeycombs melted into the hillside, with smooth round windows and low golden ceilings. At night, from far away, Candle Hole looks like a firefly palace. When the wind blows, it smells like cinnamon, and freesia, and cranberries and lavender, and fresh linen scent and new car smell. 2, the terrible power of fuckwit cake. Our parents' names are Life and Time. Time lay down on her fresh linen scent wax bed, and I came out of her first, then Maru-chan. But even though I got here first, I came out blue as the ocean, not breathing, with the umbilical cord wrapped around my neck, and Maru-chan wailing, still squeezing my noose with his tiny fist, like he was trying to get me free. Dr. Pims unstrangled and unblued me and put me in a Hawaiian Fantasies scented wax hollow in our living room. I lay there alone, too startled by living to cry, until the sun came up and Life and Time remembered that I had survived. Maru-chan was so healthy and sweet and strong. And even though Garbage Town is the most beautiful place in the world, many children don't live past a year or two here. We don't even get names until we turn 10. Before that, we answer happily to girl or boy or child or darling. Better to focus on the one that will grow up than get attached to the sickly poor beast who hasn't got a chance. I was born already a ghost, but I was a very noisy ghost. I screamed and wept at all hours while Life and Time waited for me to die. I only nursed when my brother was full. I only played with toys he forgot. I only spoke after he had spoken. Maru-chan said his first word at the supper table. Please. What a lovely, polite word for a lovely, polite child. After they finished cooing over him, I very calmly turned to my mother and said, Mama, may I please have a scoop of mackerel roe? It is my favorite. I thought they would be proud. After all, I made 12 more words than my brother. This was my moment, my wonderful moment, when they would realize that they did love me after all, and I wasn't going to die, and I was special, and I was good. But everyone got very quiet. They were not happy that their ghost could talk. I had been able to for ages, but everything in my world said to wait for my brother before I could do anything at all. No, you may not have mackerel roe because you are a deceitful, wicked little show-off child. Well, when we turned 10, we went to fetch our names. This is just the most terribly exciting thing for a garbage town kid. At 10, you know you're a real person. At 10, people want to know you. At 10, you'll probably live for a good while yet. This is how you catch a name. Wake up to a fabulous new world of being 10 and greet your birthday frankencake, a hodgepodge of well-preserved fuckwit snack cakes filled with various creams and jellies. Choose a slice with much fanfare. Inside, your adoring and/or neglectful mother will have hidden various small objects, an aluminum pull tab, a medicine bottle cap, a broken earring, a coffee bean, a wee striped capacitor, a tiny plastic rocking horse, maybe a postage stamp. Remove said item from your mouth without cutting yourself or eating it. Now, walk in the direction of your prize, towards Aluminimopolis, or Pill Hill, or Spanglestoke, or Teagate, or Electric City, or Toyside, or Lost Post Gulch. Walk and walk and walk. Never once brush yourself off or wash in the ocean, even after camping on a pile of magazines or wishbones or pregnancy tests or wrapping paper or glitter reindeer on that wrapping paper. Walk until nobody knows you. When finally a stranger hollers at you to get out of the way or go back where you came from or stop stealing the good rubbish, they will, without even realizing, call you by your true name, and you can begin to pick and stumble your way home. My brother grabbed a chocolate snack cake with a curlicue of white icing on it. I chose a pink and red, tigery, striped hunk of cake filled with gushy creme de something. The sugar hit our brains like twin tsunamis. He spat out a little gold earring with the post broken off. I felt a smooth, hard gel cap lozenge in my mouth. Pill Hill it was then, and the great mountain of fuckwit anxiety medication. But when I carefully pulled the thing out, it was a little beige capacitor with red stripes instead. Electric City. I'd never been half so far. Richies lived in Electric City. Richies and bright boys and dazzle girls and kerosene kings. My brother was off in the opposite direction toward Spanglestoke and the desert of engagement rings. Maybe none of it would have happened if I'd gone to Spanglestoke for my name instead. If I'd never seen the gasoline gardens of Engine Row. If I'd gone home straight away after finding my name. If I'd never met Goodnight Moon in the brambles of Hazmat Heath, with all the garbage stars rotting gorgeously overhead. Such is the terrible power of fuckwit cake. I walked cheerfully out of Kendall Hall with my St. Oscar backpack strapped on tight and didn't look back once. Why should I? Oscar had my back. I'm not really that religious nowadays, but everyone's religious when they're 10. St. Oscar was a fuzzy green fuckwit man who lived in a garbage can, just like me, and frowned a lot, just like me. He understood me and loved me and knew how to bring civilization out of trash, and I loved him back, even though he was a fuckwit. Nobody chooses how they get born, not even Oscar. So I scrambled up over the wax ridges of my home and into the world with Oscar on my back. The matchbox forest rose up around me, towers of easy strike matchbooks and boxes from impossible, magical places like the Coronado Hotel, Becky's Diner, the Fox and Hound Pub. Garbage towners picked through the heaps and cairns of blackened, used matchsticks looking for the precious ones that still had their red and blue heads intact. I knew all those pickers. They couldn't give me a name. I waved at the hotheads. I climbed up Flint Wheel Hill, my feet slipping and sliding on the mountain of spent butane lighters, until I could see out over all of Garbage Town. Just as the broiling cough-drop red sun was setting over far Boozaway, hitting the crystal bluffs of stockpiled whiskey and gin bottles and exploding into a billion rubies, tumbling down into a hungry sea. I sang a song from school to the sun and the matchsticks. It's an ask and answer song, so I had to sing both parts myself, which feels very odd when you've always had a twin to do the asking or the answering, but I didn't mind. Who liked it hot and hated snow? The fuckwits did. The fuckwits did. Who ate up everything that grows? The fuckwits did. The fuckwits did. Who drowned the world in the ocean's blue? The fuckwits did. The fuckwits did. Who took the land from me and you? The fuckwits did. The fuckwits did. Are you fuckwits, children dear? We're garbage towners, free and clear. But who made the garbage rich and rank? The fuckwits did, and we give thanks. The lawn stretched out below me, full of the grass clippings and autumn leaves and fallen branches and banana peels and weeds and gnawed bones and eggshells of the fertile fuckwit world, slowly turning into the gold of garbage town. Soil, real earth, terra bloody firma. We can already grow rice in the dells, and here and there big blousy flowers bang up out of the rot, hibiscus, African tulips, bitter gourds, a couple of purple lotuses floating in the damp with mucky bits. I slept next to a blue and white orchid once that looked like my brother's face. Orchid, what do you want to be when you grow up? I whispered to it. In real life, it didn't say anything back. It just fluttered a little in the moonlight and the sea wind. But when I got round to dreaming, I dreamed about the orchid, and it answered, a farm.